So let's start with the basics. This is London. We're in London, okay? It's good for me to know that. Sometimes it's hard to remember where I am or what day it is. Or what's the title about? The Agile Mindset. Whoa. We talk about doing Agile, being, but what is this mindset thing really? You know, so there's a lot of talk about it. But what is it? Just think for a moment. Contemplate. What is the mindset? What does that mean to you? Do you really know what the mindset is? Do you know how well you're doing with the mindset? Are you living it? Are you sure? Let's find out. Don't leave home without it. You know, there's a famous MasterCard commercial, don't leave home without it. What happens when we leave home without the Agile mindset? We embark on our Agile transformation, our journey towards Agile and helping organizations and helping teams without the mindset. What does that mean? How can we leave the mindset behind us? What is it? How do we take it with us? How does that relate to our success, personally and with our organizations? Let's find out. So I'm Michael Sahota. I'm a certified enterprise coach with the Scrum Alliance. I'm going to tell you a little about who I am so you understand where this information is coming from. I started actually with artificial intelligence research. How do we build autonomous robots that work in complex systems? And after that, I published papers in academics. I went on to start working as a software developer. So I know Agile from the inside out. As a software developer, as a team lead, as a director, software development, vice president R&D, and also from the perspective of working as a trainer and a coach and a consulting, helping organizations. So I have a lot of understanding of the different dimensions and aspects of getting Agile working in organizations. In the last 10 years, I've really been in this place of looking at culture and leadership. What's really going on? How do we really get Agile working in organizations? All of you know this. It's really easy to get started with a team here, with a team there. But what happens when we want to get the broader success? What happens when we want to move beyond just IT and have the whole organization operating differently? How do we do that? How do we break through this glass ceiling where people think that Agile is about the teams and don't really involve the leadership or the management? How do we create a bigger picture and a bigger story? And the Agile mindset holds the key. So 7 years ago, I wrote this book. Has anyone read this book? Senior Agile people still read this book today and tell me how valuable it is to them to help understand that Agile is actually a culture system, to help demystify the difference between Agile adoption and Agile transformation. If you go to our website, there's actually a free book download. You can just get this for free. I would highly encourage you, if you haven't checked it out, to check it out. So, where are we going? We're sharing information that we go into in detail in our Certified Agile Leadership Training. So far, we've trained about 1,500 leaders worldwide, executives, managers, coaches, to help them understand that there is a bigger picture to Agile. There's a deeper understanding of Agile that makes sense beyond IT, makes sense from all aspects of the organizational system. So let's go into some of that now. The Agile mindset and leadership. Let's start with that perspective. So if we look at the research that's been going on worldwide, we see very interesting story about Agile. Who's seen this version 1 research? Raise your hand if you've seen this. Okay, this is very powerful research. 50,000 teams, thousands of companies. Look at the first, so everyone can get started with Agile, but when we try to move beyond that, it gets pretty tricky. 63% of people report the company philosophy or culture is at odds with core Agile values. So somehow this Agile mindset is implicated here. 63% tell us this Agile mindset is not fitting in with our company and how things run at our company. Whoa, how can we not understand the mindset? That's the impact. We need to understand what's going on there. Or this next one, lack of experience with Agile methods, almost 50%. That is also speaking to the mindset of not really understanding fully what this whole Agile thingy is. This next one's very interesting. Lack of management support, 45%. If you have an initiative that almost 50%, almost half the management do not support, what should you do with that initiative? Stop it or do a fundamental rethink. We advocate a fundamental rethink of Agile, which actually brings us back to the root of the Agile, brings us back to living the Agile mindset and a deeper understanding. We'll say more about that later. Let me go through one more. General organizational resistance to change. Who's seeing resistance, either at a team level or a leadership level? Anyone seeing resistance out there? Okay. Well, let's just check something. Is Agile intended to make people's lives better or worse? Why would people refuse something that's going to help them? There's something going wrong. No one would refuse something that's really, truly going to help them. No one ever would do that. Right? People are pretty sensible. So it means there's something horribly going wrong in the name of Agile. The things that are being perpetrated under the title Agile is not Agile at all. I'd argue that people have, as a community, we've lost our way. We've forgotten the Agile mindset. We've left home without it. That's why there's so much resistance. If we had the Agile mindset with us, there'd be no resistance. Because Agile is about people and we work with people, there won't be any resistance. When we help people get what they want and help them succeed, they'll be really happy. There won't be any resistance. So somehow we've lost the Agile mindset. That's what this research is telling us. We've lost the mindset and we don't fully understand it. And it's created a crisis in Agile. That's why this is such a critical topic. What is this Agile mindset thingy? Where does it come from? Well, a lot of you may have heard this, that Agile practices and doing Agile is fundamentally a different thing than Agile mindset or being Agile. Bob Hartman introduced the Agile community. It's a huge contribution. Who's heard of this, doing Agile versus being Agile? Who's heard of that? All right, most of you could. So we're going to dive into what does that mean? What do we do about it? How do we foster success through this deeper understanding? So doing Agile is not being Agile. Practices are not the mindset. These are different things. They're fundamentally different things. We can do all the practices, the daily stand-up, the burn-down chart, etc., and we get benefits. There's proven research. We get benefits from doing the practices alone. We can manage changing priorities, improve visibility, etc. And that's valuable. That's, let's say, 20% benefit. We can get 20% better just by doing the practices. That's pretty good investment, right? But what about the other side of the equation? What's that? Well, that's relationships, safety, trust, joy at work, customer delight, engagement, innovation, creativity. Is that 20% or is that something different? What is that? That's 3x. 3 times the level of benefit. When you have engaged, passionate, motivated people who are connected with a purpose and have meaning in what they're doing and they're excited about it, wow, you're on fire then. That's what the Agile mindset is all about. Think about, is your Agile right now? Are the people on fire with excitement? Are they energized and motivated? All of them? That's great. If you're seeing that, that's wonderful. Something's happening that's amazing in your environment. Most of us can't get there. Most of us get stuck. And most of the value from Agile actually comes from the mindset, from this way of being, from the people who are energized, passionate, motivated, not from the practices. You may notice this. Maybe your organization wanted to do all of Agile but got distracted. Hey, let's get these practices working over here. And then you leave the Agile mindset behind you. But what is this Agile mindset, this mythical beast? Is this a unicorn? Can we actually talk about it? Can we actually put our finger on what it actually is? Put up your hand if you can define very precisely, very clearly the Agile mindset in 10 seconds. Anyone can do that? Raise your hand if you can do that in 10 seconds. No, I'm just saying if you can do it. How many people can feel that they can summarize in 10 seconds? Okay. We're going to give some live audience. Well, there's another speaker? Okay, we'll just do this. All right, we'll have two answers. 10 seconds.
Behaviors?
What behaviors? That's not concise. That's not complete. Boo. All right.
Agile mindset, 3 beliefs. The belief in complexity, belief in people, and the belief in relentless improvement.
Thank you. One more person. Last one.
The ability, I'm not sure if it's on, the ability and willingness to adapt to change.
The willingness and ability to adapt to change. Thank you. All right. So let's go. Let's get a very precise definition. We're going to co-create this. We're going to crowdsource this so all of us can contribute. If you take out your phone, go to your browser, and go to polev.com/orgs/ORGS. If it asks you for a username, it's ORGS. That's my username. I'm all about orgs and high-performance orgs. So the question is, what one word describes our behavior when we're being agile, when we're living the agile mindset, when we're being agile? What one word will describe our behavior? So just type in your answer. What one word will describe our behavior when we're being agile? Put in your responses. We're going to crowdsource, co-create. Agile is about collaboration, co-creation. Let's co-create right now a definition for agile mindset. So you have something flexible, respect, adaptive. You can enter these words, you can enter new words. What do you think the agile mindset is? What word describes your behavior when being agile? Respect, adaptability, empathy, trust, embrace, supportive, openness, learning, evolution, understanding, humane, flow. Just type in whatever words are coming up for you. If you're hearing words that are true for you, put them in. We're going to co-create this. We're going to discover here in London, July 2019, what is Agile all about for us here? What is the mindset really about? How do we behave when we're being agile? Empathy, adaptive, flexible, collaboration, improvement, communication, fearless, cultural, experimentation, community, mindful, purposeful, respect, love, trust, open, safety, change. This is extraordinary. Just take a moment, put your phones down, look up at the screen. Look at what you've created together. Look at what you've created together. Please stop your entering results so it stabilizes and stops jumping around. Adaptable, adaptive, empathy, trust, collaboration, flexible, freedom. This is what it means when we're living the agile mindset. So my question is, how much of your day are you fully showing up this way 100%? Is it all day long you're showing up this way? It turns out if you're a normal human being, you may not show up this way all day long. You may leave the agile mindset behind you. You may forget it at moments because you're human. Our work is to show up this way all the time. That's what it means to really say, yes, I believe in Agile, is to live the mindset, to be agile at all moments, at all times, at your home, with your family, with your friends, at the workplace, in all communications. This is the question for you. This is what the agile mindset is for us here. So the question is, how good a job are you doing living this way? How much of the time? Is this going to work? All right, now. So we're going to ask you, I'll give the instructions, then I'll say go. We're going to ask you to discuss in pairs. What behaviors could you change in yourself? Because maybe you're not living the agile mindset perfectly, right? What behaviors could you change to live the agile mindset to get better results? So I'm going to put up the screen again for a moment. So look at the screen. Just take a look at this. What behaviors don't come naturally to you? What behaviors do you want to cultivate in yourself to better live the agile mindset, to do a better job every day of being agile? What words up here? Just note to yourself, what are your challenge words? What are the words that you'd like to grow around? Yeah, so everyone stand up, get into pairs, meet someone new. This is called a meetup, so meet someone new. That's the criteria. Meet someone you don't know yet. Meet them, introduce yourself, and then discuss. Where could you grow? Where can you grow? What behavior could you change?
Question, answers, so that the camera can hear it. So you need to make sure to use this one.
Do you want me to be the mic runner? Okay.
Okay, please take your seats. You're here because you want to create a more agile environment at work. You want to create more success at work. Yeah? This is how you can immediately do that. If you focus on your own behaviors, when you focus on your own behaviors, you can immediately create a more agile environment the next day at work by changing your behavior. You can't change anyone else, you can only change yourself. You don't need any authority, you don't need any power, you don't need any budget, you don't need any approval to work on yourself. Simply by choosing to say, where am I living the agile mindset? You can every day make yourself more agile, to live the agile mindset more deeply, and through that, inspire others to move to this new way of working. You can do that right now. So the limit for you, if you think you're stuck, that there are all these things preventing you from creating a more agile environment, that's not true. You can do this yourself right now, starting tomorrow. And I'll post this on social media, this infographic, so you'll be able to reference this if you want a reminder for some tips of what the Agile mindset really is. Okay, so now let's talk about leading organizational change and inspiring others. So I want to talk to you about organizational change. First of all, one really important thing to remember is that change can happen at any level of the organization. If you're working in a hierarchy, it can happen in your team, in your department. It doesn't require the whole organization. So when I draw this here, current organizational function is a result of current mindset and behavior. What we're saying is that the outcome, this blue triangle here, the solid dark blue triangle, is a reflection and a function of the mindset. Right? If you have a very progressive mindset, you're going to get a very high performance outcome. If you have not as progressive a mindset in the people in the organization, then you're not going to get as progressive an outcome. Right? Oftentimes people look at this and say, well, hey, how do I get to Agile? How do I come in and train the people and coach them and fix them all up to get to a high performance organization? And the answer is, you can or you can't. You can't. Because coming in here and training and coaching the people at the bottom will maybe create some improvements at the bottom, but the whole organization involves people at all levels, including the top. The only way to get the whole organizational system to move to a different way of being is to have everyone go on a journey to shift their behavior, shift their mindset. It doesn't help to just shift the mindset at the bottom of the organization. You need to shift the mindset at all levels of the organization. So whether you're looking at a team, a department, or a whole organization, what it really takes to create the high performance organization we're looking for is a shift of mindset to the Agile mindset or better or so on at all levels of the organization. Now, if we want to move to a new mindset, a new way of being, and we want to have workers who have new behaviors, and the whole organization is now nimble, adaptable, dare I say, agile, we're going to need to have a shift in the behaviors at all levels of the organization. We're going to need, and new behaviors are only going to come from a shift in mindset. Without a shift in mindset, there's not going to be a shift in behaviors. So we need to shift all across at all levels, not just at the bottom, not just with teams. This is a classic mistake and disaster with Agile, that somehow Agile is only for teams and doesn't involve managers, doesn't involve executives. It does. For all of us to go on a journey and move to new behaviors across the organization and a new mindset, a new way of approaching things to get a totally different organizational outcome, requires that everyone go on the journey. And we're really looking for leaders at all levels. That's what high performance is, when everyone thinks and acts like a leader to help the system move forward. Organizational growth is a result of personal growth. Olaf says it this way: an organization will only grow to the extent that people in it grow themselves. Right? So when we talk about transformation, Agile transformation or otherwise, what it means is that if we're here and we want to go to a more progressive place on our journey, right? It's a journey. It's not like a state 1, state 2, and we're done. It's an ongoing journey towards improving ourselves. It requires that everyone go on the journey, right? So what's our role? Are we going to go first on the journey? Or are we going to wait for others to go first on the journey to shift the mindset, shift to a more progressive mindset, or hold that mindset for much more of the day and so on? And leaders go first to inspire others. So the question is, do you want to lead the shift to a new mindset? Do you really want to lead the shift towards the Agile mindset and your organization operating a new way? If you do, that requires that you go first. Not asking anyone else to change, but focusing on your own self, your own behaviors, your own mindset, and to see if you're really truly living the Agile mindset with everything you do. Now let's just check in here. This is a time confession. The good news is this is an anonymous poll. Pretty much everything you're going to put up here, I've done. So the poll title is, I caused damage in the name of Agile. So this is a chance to have a little bit of confession, to report on the places where you created damage. You had good intentions, but inadvertently you created damage in the name of Agile. Right? We're talking about organizational change here. So where would you try to make things better in the name of Agile, but you actually caused damage? What did you do? So let's build this list together to understand what are the traps of how do we fall out of the Agile mindset? How do we actually inadvertently create damage? Because we're operating an Agile mindset, we're probably not going to create damage. Fixed mindset, making teams do Scrum, regardless of whether it's right for them or whether they want to. Help to get change mandated. Yeah, mandating change. You have to change now, right? How does that go over? That's a recipe for disaster right there. Unprofessionalism, trying to inflict, not invite people, have your own agenda, cookie cutter, generalizing specialists, formal work instructions. So you can also upvote your other people's answers. So put in your own answers here and upvote other people's answers. So as a group, we can crowdsource to create what are the biggest traps we can fall into, right? And we can find the biggest traps going forward by looking at what are the traps we've fallen into in the past. So let's take a moment here, put in your answers, just do some soul searching. Where have you caused damage in the name of Agile? So just so you know, I've done everything up here probably. I've created so much damage in my career in the name of Agile. The reason I'm here teaching about it is because I figured out I was causing damage and I figured out how to stop. But this is a very normal, natural thing. So if you've caused damage, don't feel so bad about it. It's a normal consequence of growing up and existing in our society, right? So we're here to do a better job than what we've done in the past. So telling people they have to do things. Pushing for my ideas, oh yeah, I know that one. Couldn't change the mindset of top management. Oh yeah, getting stuck with top management and then pushing even harder and having that blow up. I've done that. Told people to do things differently, not asking them for their ideas. Tried to sell agility, be so excited. Is anyone so excited about agility and Agile, they end up trying to sell or convince? Anyone ever done that? Yeah. Creates a lot of damage, doesn't it? Right? It's okay to like Agile, but when we go across the line to being so excited about it, we stop listening to people about what they want. It creates a lot of damage. So this is what we're seeing here. This is how we've caused damage in the name of Agile. Pushing for my ideas, telling, couldn't change the mindset, told people to do things differently, lack of clarity. Yeah. All right, so let's continue on now. Now let's flip it around. When did real change actually happen? Real, permanent, lasting change for success. What happened? When you were doing real change, what actually happened? What did you do? What was your discovery, your surprise? It's like, oh, when I did this, things worked out. You listened, teamwork. You let go of your agenda. You relaxed. You're patient. Collaboration, empathy. You showed value. Co-created. Connected with people on a personal level, had a common vision. Wow. Continue putting your answers in here. Upvote other answers that you found that worked for you in your context, that you discovered would lead to real change, real lasting change in your organization, a real permanent shift towards a new way of working, a new way of being. You facilitate instead of telling. Created a common vision. What's a common vision? It's being something that people all are excited about and want together. Wow. You listen, collaboration, co-creation, trust, teamwork, empathy. The truth of the matter is all of us have destruction within us and we have success within us. All of you in this room are already capable of living the Agile mindset and leading to success. Just take a moment, put your phones down, look up here together. This is what you've just co-created. Real change happened when? You facilitate instead of telling, listened, common vision, co-creation, teamwork, collaboration, trust, empathy. So now we've just created a script, a very powerful. You just co-created right here for yourself a script of how to create damage by compromising the Agile mindset. This is how you can cause damage in the name of Agile. Is this the Agile mindset or something else?
Something else.
It's something else, isn't it? There's no way you can cause damage living the Agile mindset. So if you've been causing damage, it's because you haven't actually been living the Agile mindset. Oops. You mean I wasn't living the Agile mindset. I thought I was, but I wasn't, and then I created damage in the name of Agile. Oops. Wow, I didn't know I was doing that even. So here's the panty pattern. You could take note of this. Remind yourself, when you're doing these things, you're actually not living the mindset. You're not actually doing anything involved with Agile. You're just creating damage for yourself and the people around you. And flipping it around, you also now know, well, real change is going to happen when you do the following. When you show up in these ways, when you facilitate instead of telling, you listen, you co-create common visions with people, and you have teamwork and collaboration. When you work to be in an environment like that, create an environment like that, when you're operating that way, your Agile initiative, Agile transformation, Agile adoption, whatever it is you have going on, maybe DevOps even, because DevOps, Agile doesn't work, so we'll use DevOps. That's very common now. Yeah, you guys know that? Okay, all right. So this is the script for how to be successful. It's proven. This is what we take people through and teach in class, but you guys have actually just co-created this now, right? Of course, there's a lot more details. How do I do that? How do I know I'm in the traps, and so on. Okay, let's do a demo. Can I get a volunteer up here at the front? It's safe. Please. Okay, just come stand over here. Okay, and I'm just gonna hold up my hand. Just hold up your hand, and I'm gonna push. So I'm pushing. Okay, she doesn't look that big, but she's, I'm pushing really hard, and you're doing a great job resisting. Really, really great job. Now keep on resisting. You can't. I have become irresistible. Now, just for a moment, point to the person or persons, this is what I'm going to point, creating the resistance. Who is creating the resistance? Who was it? Who was it? Wait, why are you pointing at me? It was her. You saw her. She was resisting. Okay, let's give a big round of applause. Let's debug this. One moment, there was resistance. You saw it, right? I was pushing really hard. There was resistance. There absolutely was resistance. The next moment, the resistance vanished, and she was utterly unable to resist. So, what was I doing to create the resistance? I was pushing. She was resisting. What did I do to eliminate the resistance utterly? I stopped pushing. Here's the news flash. If you're experiencing resistance, remember I asked earlier about resistance, who's experiencing resistance? If you're experiencing resistance, what does it mean you're doing? It means you're pushing. If you're experiencing resistance, there are people who are not listening to you, who are not on board, it means you're pushing. What can you do to eliminate the resistance? Stop pushing. Fascinating, huh? Where is push? Is push part of Agile? No. No, it's not. Push is not part of Agile. Agile's about pull. Agile's like lean. Agile's based on the principle of pull. In Scrum, teams pull work, right? Every week or 2 weeks, they pull the work they can do in that 1 week. They finish it, and they pull work they do the next week. In Kanban, teams pull tickets when they have capacity, and they're ready to take on the work. Agile's built on pull. So if you're seeing resistance, it means you're pushing. If you're pushing, are you living the Agile mindset? No. How on earth can you create resistance in the name of Agile? It's not. You're not actually Agile. Newsflash. I'm begging you, please. Agile is extraordinary. It's very powerful. It requires the doing and the being. Living the Agile mindset means you're pulling. You're helping people that want to be helped in the way they want to be helped. You're not making anyone do anything. You're not mandating anything. Let's go on with the resistance list. How else do we create resistance? Push. What are the words we have that describe creating resistance? Convincing. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands. You know if you fall into the trap of trying to convince people. Yeah? Okay, I'm seeing some nods. The alternative to that is inspiring people, getting people excited. Need to. Hey, we need to do this transformation program. Versus people who want to. People who want to do something, are excited about it, are going to do it, and it's going to succeed. Make or drive. We need to drive change in our organization. Okay, how's that working out for you? Not so well, usually. Instead, we want to invite people. We want to invite people to be part of something and be excited about it. That's where change is going to come from. That's where real lasting success is going to come from. We tell people, you have to do this. We tell them to do Scrum. There's a lot of telling and a lot of Agile out there. That's not living the Agile mindset. Living the Agile mindset is co-creating, right? You guys already had that word up here. Selling. Ooh. Who's ever heard of Agile evangelism? Yeah, Agile evangelism is an extreme form of selling. How do you like it when someone comes in your doors and tries to sell you something on Sunday afternoon? Or in a meeting, they're trying to sell you their idea and convince you. You get that yucky feeling inside, right? Do you want to be that Agile evangelist creating a yucky feeling in all these people? That's what you do. It's not Agile at all. Agile is about listening and asking people what they want and helping them get what they want. Now, we're going to ask, okay, in this meetup, you're going to meet new people. So I'm going to give you the instructions, then I'll say go. We're going to ask you to get in triad. So that triad means group of 3. And when you get into a group of 3, meet new people, introduce yourself, then answer this question. Just be really honest for a moment, right? Where are you pushing? Where are you pulling? How much of your time are you creating resistance, and how much of your time you're actually living the Agile mindset and living in an Agile way of working? All right, 1, 2, 3, go. Stand up, get into triads, and discuss. Take your seats, please. Okay, let's get real and practical for you creating the change that you want to see in your organization, starting with yourself. So we're going to ask you to take a moment for some self-reflection and journaling. So you can use your phone or device or notebook, or at the end of each row, there's paper and pens on both sides, on the far end, on the right side, on the left side. So if you want paper, pen, just go grab one or ask them to pass it to you. And just take a moment. I didn't say that living the Agile mindset was easy. I didn't say that ever. Okay, just to clarify. It actually takes some work. So this is a chance for you to actually do some of the work right here, right now, to support your shift to live in the Agile mindset more fully. So get paper and pen, or use your notebook, and start journaling. Now that we know about how people cause damage in the name of Agile through pushing, through creating resistance and so on, where can you stop causing damage? What are the things that you've been doing that are causing damage and that you want to stop doing? Right? So retrospective is what you want to stop doing, you want to start doing. So this is like a personal retrospective. What do you want to stop doing where you're causing damage by leaving the Agile mindset behind and creating damage? Just take a moment to journal. If you're not sure what to write, maybe write down the people you should be asking for help with this to help you identify the areas where you're causing damage. Because you've asked people around you, they'll know. And take a moment to wrap up. And now let's go to another question. Let's look at the flip side. Real change happened when? And where can you spark a change? What are some of the things that you can do to create a positive change in your environment? What are some of the things you can do differently, some of the experiments you can run, if you want to call it that, to spark a change, to actually live in alignment with the Agile mindset and create something different happening? Where can you listen more? Where can you co-create more? Where can you improve your collaboration to create space for other people's ideas? And take a few minutes to wrap up. Okay, great. Let's continue. So shifting mindset. Ooh, what does that mean? Well, we know we have behaviors where we cause damage, where we can create challenge for ourselves, where we can live not and be agile, in line with the Agile mindset. We know there are times we can do that. But how do we shift our behaviors? How do we shift our mindset to show up more how we want to show up, right? Because we've invited you to see some gaps here. Gaps between what your current behavior is and what the Agile mindset shows. And how through that gap you're actually creating damage, you're actually getting in your own way, creating the success you want. So, this is what I was saying earlier, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. So there's hope. There's hope. We're talking about how you can succeed, how you can make these changes in yourself without authority, without budget, without approvals, to be more agile. And this is my epiphany. We just be agile first. We let go of focusing on the practice. We focus on the mindset part of the equation, the one that's much more powerful. And we, each one of us here in this room, be agile first. Live the mindset much more deeply. We can do that on our own. It's how I choose to show up. So think, how do you choose to show up? And Viktor Frankl has this famous quote, between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Each one of us at each moment throughout the day, when we're choosing, do I stay with the Agile mindset or do I leave it behind? Each one of us throughout the day can pay attention and use that pause to make a healthier choice. It's possible. We're talking about cultivating our ability to become much more aware of our behavior and much more able to use that pause to make a better choice, to actually live the Agile mindset more fully, more often throughout the day, to create the result we want. Mahatma Gandhi says this. Who's heard this quote? Be the change you want to see in the world. You know, for a lot of us, we hear it and we go, oh, this is some nice, inspirational poster. You hear about it, you feel kind of good, and then you forget about it. Yeah? That's for most of us what happens when we see stuff like this. I'm going to invite you to understand this a little bit differently. This statement, be the change you want to see in the world, the statement here on the screen, is very concrete, specific, actionable, daily guidance for how to live the Agile mindset. Be the change you want to see in the world. If you want to see Agile around you in your organization, start with yourself. Be that change. It's very specific. It's very actionable. And you know what's even weirder? It works. It works incredibly well because you have the ability to change your own behavior. You have the ability to choose how you show up. You can make this change happen tomorrow if you put time and energy and attention into how you're showing up, and you hold that intention for yourself throughout the day. We're going to give you a very powerful tool. We'll give you the short version. The 4A's conscious leadership model. This is how you can hack your brain, shift your mindset, shift your behaviors, get out of these unconscious behaviors that are plaguing us, that we've probably had for most of our lives, that are causing us to act in these ways that are unproductive, that are not aligned with the Agile mindset. So let's go through these. As we go through these, I'd like you to invite you to identify one of the things you've identified where you want to show up differently, where you want to live the Agile more fully, and look at that challenge you have through these lenses of the 4A's. All we're asking you to do is to stand in the truth of how you're showing up. It turns out when we have these leadership edges, we have these challenges, everyone knows we do these unproductive behaviors, everyone around us, because they're suffering because of it, right? They all know we're doing it. We're just asking you to admit it to yourself. We're not asking you to admit to anyone else. We're just asking you to admit the truth to yourself of the places where you're creating damage in order to shift those behaviors so you no longer create the damage that you're creating. The 4A's are very simple. The first A is for awareness, that you're aware of the behavior. Yes, I have this leadership edge. I'll use one for myself. Yes, I interrupt people. That's the first A, awareness. The second A is for acceptance. I see that I don't just do a little, yes, I interrupt people. Yes, it causes damage. I don't actually discover what they were saying. And I see the damage it's caused in my life. And I go, oh, this doesn't feel very good. Yeah, I actually create a lot of damage by interrupting people. I'm actually blocking my own success. I'm harming relationships and so on. So acceptance means you're not in denial, you're not in minimization, you're actually seeing the truth of what you do and admitting it to yourself fully and seeing the damage it causes. The third A is for aspiration, which is about how do you want to show up. For me, with interrupting, I desire to actually fully listen to people so I can discover what they're saying, so I can honor them and honor the space and time for trying to communicate with me. And the last A is for ask for help, because we're talking about shifting unconscious behavior patterns, which we're often not aware of. So asking for help from people around you who want to help you become a really good leader is an amazingly powerful way to help yourself grow faster, whether it's a buddy at work or someone who's part of a coaching peer group. We highly encourage you to use this as a way to ask for help for people who can give you feedback in a helpful, supportive way. And when you explain to them your leadership edge and using this, they can support you through that. So now we're going to give you time to journal. Time to journal. And I'm going to ask you to just take out your paper and go through the 4A's. Awareness, what are you doing? Acceptance, what is the admit to yourself fully that you're doing it and the damage it causes. Aspiration, how do you want to be, and who can you ask for help with this? Let me see, is this working? Here we go. So just put on some music. Just take a moment to journal, to reflect. This is your chance to get the shift right now. Go through the 4 A's, or 1, 2, 3 places where you're creating damage. Take another 30 seconds to complete. So we don't have time to go through the full details, but the summary is the 4 A's can be used to help yourself grow, to work on your own personal leadership, to show up as the kind of leader that you want to. And so use together with an understanding what the Agile mindset is, and being honest and looking at the places where you're not showing up as your best self. You can use the 4 A's to help rewire your brain to shift your behaviors, so you show up more as the leader that you want to more fully live the Agile mindset. Stand up, meet someone new, discuss in pairs. How do you aspire to show up? How might self-reflection help you to be successful? Everyone, stand up, get into pairs, and discuss. Meet someone new. We're in a meetup. Hi.
You need to get home.
Okay, take your seats, please. Let's continue. So there are two things we teach in different trainings. The 4A's conscious leadership model we do in Cal 1. In Cal 2 we do emotional science. You don't have to wait for that. This book is that Audrey and I wrote together. It turns out most people have not been equipped by society, by modern psychology, to actually fully understand how emotions work. The science part of this book takes you on an experiential journey for you to discover yourself how your own emotional system works. So we help you learn yourself how your emotional system works and how to operate it. Because it turns out most of us, what's taking us out, preventing us from living the Agile mindset, is we get irritated, we get annoyed, we get frustrated. Think about how many times a day do you open up your email and it's like, rah, 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 rah. That's taking you out. Your emotions are taking you out, and it's preventing you. Because when you're in a reduced emotional state, you can't live the Agile mindset. The Agile mindset is an open, expansive state. So I invite you to check that out if you want to have some more very practical help for shifting your emotions. If you want to take a copy, take a look. We've got one copy up here. If you want to take a look through it after the session. Now, let's just check in with you. Where are you on this poll? To have the impact I want, it's important to grow myself. To the impact I want, to create the success that you want, it's important to grow yourself. Where are you on this? They went to the wrong meetup. No. And someone's, it's really great, the community, because people are really good at having fun in this community. So it's also a good way to test the person up at the front. How are they going to react to it? Ha 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 ha. Very good. Wonderful. So this is just to help you orient, to know where you stand and what's happening in the room around you. Just look around you. This is where people are. 95% of people are in the agree or strongly agree category, right? Deciding that, actually to have the impact of the full success that I desire, I actually need to work on myself. I need to grow myself to create that success, that change, right? Once we have that awareness sparked in ourselves, we're on the road to huge and incredible change within ourselves and then change around us as we change and grow. So this is actually the start of a huge leadership journey for a lot of people. So wave 2 of Agile, really shifting the mindset. We talked about doing Agile versus being Agile earlier. We need the doing and the being. It's not the Agile mindset's better. Doing Agile is worse. It's not about that. It's we need the doing and the being. Turns out the doing is actually easier. Right? A lot of focus on the doing. We're trying to restore the balance to include the Agile mindset because it keeps on getting left at home. It keeps on getting left behind us. So we need to put the Agile mindset back where it has full attention along with the practices because we need both. This is our saying. A new way of being enables a new way of working. Shifting mindset, shifting our behaviors is key. There's no way to fully enable this Agile way of working without a shift in mindset in ourselves and the people around us. It is absolutely essential. And here today, you've gotten some understanding of what does it mean to not live with an Agile mindset, where we cause damage. You've learned what does it mean to live with an Agile mindset, how we can foster growth and so on. We've given you the 4A's, conscious leadership, so you can start shifting your behaviors now. We pointed you to emotional science, a way to learn more about how you can show up more fully with the Agile mindset as the leader you want to be. These are very practical ways to shift mindset, to be aware of what we do and then start working on it. Wave 1 of Agile, that's what we've been in up till now. It's had a huge success. Agile spread all over the world. People are looking to Agile to save IT. People are looking to Agile to save their entire business, not just IT, but the whole organization. And frankly, Agile's not up to the challenge, not with Wave 1, because there's too much focus on practices and not enough balance with mindset in being Agile. That's what Wave 2 is about. Wave 2 is about living Agile. Wave 2 is about being Agile. It's all of us. You, me, all of us living the Agile mindset. Not some of the times when we're at our best moment, but every day, all day long. Not irritated, not frustrated, not trying to tell people and control them, but living the Agile mindset, the spirit of collaboration, the spirit of co-creation, the spirit of learning and discovery about ourselves and about others all day long. That's what Wave 2 is about. It's a way to actually recover the Agile movement, because Agile, if you haven't noticed, it's dead or dying. There's so much failure. You know, I'd say Agile transformation rates, what's the success rate? 1%, 2% in terms of actually meeting the stated objectives. Some are actually moderately successful, but they don't actually meet their stated objectives of fully transforming the organizational system. We have an epidemic on our hands, and the cure is not something new, it's not something different. The cure is Agile itself. It's fully living the Agile mindset. That's what Wave 2 is all about. So my question for you, are you ready to fully live the Agile mindset? Are you ready for a fundamental rethink of Agile? That's what Wave 2 is. It's the evolution of Agile, the change we've been waiting for, to restore the balance, because the balance has fallen to the doing side. We need to restore the balance to the doing and the being, to make sure that we honor the Agile mindset at all times. Should I say this? Yes, okay. So Wave 2 of Agile is really about each one of us inspiring leaders at all levels of our organization to create a healthy organizational environment and culture in our companies, so we can introduce Agile, DevOps, and these new ways of working once we fully support the new way of being. And that's going to let us thrive in a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. This is what consciously approaching Agile is all about. It's become conscious of our behavior and live in line with the Agile mindset. So let's see, are you ready? Are you ready for Wave 2 of Agile to model the change that you want to see in the world? Are you ready for that? So we're seeing 85% of the room is ready. Together we can change the world, each one of us. And it's not about changing others, it's each of us doing our part to show up as our best self. Just a reminder, you can download the free book, Agile Tricks. And welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn, read some blog posts. And we'll take some time for a Q&A now.
So we talk a lot about being Agile and doing Agile. Do you have any powerful examples we can use to compare both?
Sure, yeah, doing Agile versus being Agile. That's a great question. So doing Agile is talking to people about, let's say, Scrum. Or are you at the daily stand-up, right? You know, that's a favorite, right? These are practices. It's about doing Agile, right? Or are we running experiments? These are practices. The being Agile is about, are we living the mindset? Are we collaborating? Are we listening to each other, right? Like that's what it's all about, right? That's what the core of Agile. Agile, you know, I think Simon's got on his t-shirt here, people over process. That's the shortest definition of Agile, is that we focus on the people and the interactions, not the process. Right? Process comes along too, but it's really all about the people. Right, another question? Yeah, please stand up so everyone can hear you, project.
Yeah, this is just my opinion, but I believe the credit crunch was the catalyst for Agile adoption. Do we need a similar catalyst for Wave 2?
So the question is, you know, the credit crunch was a catalyst for Wave 1 of Agile. Do we need a catalyst for Wave 2? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. All I know is that Agile Wave 1, it's dead or dying. Like, Agile transformations keep on missing the mark. People are keep on busy. Like, the level of disillusionment, like we talk about this trough of disillusionment, That's where a lot of people live with Agile. It's become a buzzword, a fad. So in terms of my part, I'm doing my part to spark excitement, to spark interest in people having this conversation. If each one of us starts shifting the conversation, if everyone here starts shifting the conversation, we'll start to spread the movement. I don't know if there's something that will really cause a wake up, right? Maybe something will. We'll be surprised and delighted. Great, next question.
You know your little,
Okay, just use both. Use both.
you know your little triangle that had the whole organisation moving. Well, I think most companies find that it's only the bottom half that's moving. I'd just like for you to ask how many C-level people are here, people who could move the top level.
Yeah. So the question is, well, what's happening in the triangle? How many C-level people here? And I'll ask the question, but I just want to clarify something. That's the myth. The myth is that we have to wait for C-level people to make a change. The truth of the matter is, Agile grows and lives through what's called culture bubbles. A team here, a department here, where the one leader of that group gets it and models the Agile mindset, creates a great environment for people in amongst a sea of cultures operating very, very differently and other people operating with different mindset. So you don't need to wait for anyone. You do not need to wait for the C-level. You can make these changes because culture, mindset, is a local phenomenon. You've noticed different teams work differently, different departments work differently, right? That's your friend. Culture change, mindset shift happens locally, person by person, group by group. So you don't need to wait for the C-level. But that said, is there anyone here who's in some sort of leadership role, a C-level or related? Anyone? Just raise your hands. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. But you don't need to wait for those people. It's wonderful when those people choose to lead along with us, because then change will happen much, much quicker. But there's no need to wait for anyone. You can make these changes on your own, starting with yourself. That's an excuse, actually. I can't make these changes. I have to wait for those people. No. We've just taken away your get out of jail free card. It's up to you. You don't have to wait for anyone. If you choose to wait for anyone, that's you not choosing to lead. I'm sorry. Maybe I've taken away your escape card for avoiding responsibility. But each one of us has the responsibility and the responsibility to lead change. That's what we've just gone through. Other questions? Do you want to do both microphones? Oh, yes.
Two mics, this is fun. So I agree with everything you're saying. We all have the responsibility and the power to make change. I think a lot of the interesting both friction and opportunity is where Agile teams rub up against other bits of the organisation that are less agile and have different ways of working. Do you have any tactics to help teams model and bring those teams on the journey?
Yeah, actually a big part of the problem is Agile itself and a misunderstanding of Agile. Who's here heard of autonomous self-organizing teams? Put up your hand if you've heard that. Keep your hand in the air if that's part of the definition of Agile. Keep your hand in the air if that's part of the definition of the Agile. It's written in the Agile Manifesto. No, it's not. What? But we're doing autonomous self-organizing teams. What do you mean that's not part of Agile? It's not. Read the manifesto. It's not in there. What happened is the Agile community got hijacked by anti-disestablishmentarianisms who don't like hierarchy. And they added the words autonomous, self-organizing. Raise your hand if you've seen a group of people told you're self-organizing and it's been a total train wreck because they didn't have the skills, ability to operate that way. That's normal. See, we don't want to start with self-organizing. That's a very advanced step. We want to develop people who are responsible, who can then take on self-organization. But that starting there with people who are not ready is not responsible. That's called irresponsible, maybe even unintelligent. That's the self-organizing part. What about autonomous? Raise your hand if you've been in an environment where teams were told they're autonomous. Put up your hand if people have used the autonomous word in your environments. Raise your hand. It's okay. Raise your hand, it's normal. Now, keep your hand in the air if those teams were truly autonomous. If those two teams could make decisions about everything that touches them without involving or asking permission from anyone else. Really? Okay. All right. Wonderful. You're the rare exception. In most cases, teams actually should not even be autonomous. They're decisions they make that impact other groups, other people in the organization. Right? So they shouldn't make those decisions autonomously. They're making them together. Remember, Agile is about collaboration and co-creation. They should collaborate and co-create with others in their department. It's a sub-optimization. What happens when you have 7 teams and every team optimizes itself? What will happen to the global optimum? It'll fall. If you want to create a global optimum, you have the teams collaborate and co-create together. Right? So there's this destruction that we have in the Agile community itself because there's been distortion and misperception of what Agile actually is. It's been hijacked, right? And there's nothing about autonomous self-organized team that's actually part of the mindset. The mindset's about collaboration, not autonomy, right? Like there's a gap, there's a misunderstanding. I can't remember what the question was. Does that come close to answering it? What? Oh, you're talking about different levels in friction.
Trying to collaborate with teams who...
Yeah, that's why we don't have collaboration. Let me come back to that. That's why we don't have collaboration, because we told the teams not to collaborate. Whose fault is that? It's our fault. We said, hey, you're autonomous. Don't collaborate with anyone else. If someone comes to ask you for help, you know what you say? No, it's not on the backlog. That's not collaboration. We've told them to do that, and then they do it, and then we say, no, they're not collaborating, those dumb teams. No, they're doing exactly what we told them to do. As leaders, we're creating, and coaches, we're creating an organizational environment that's set up for success or set up for failure. A lot of organizational environments are not set up for success. We've told teams not to collaborate and not to work together. Right? We can just tell them something different. We say, hey, teams, collaborate, work together. Focus on shared success. Optimize the whole. We can do that. And then guess what will happen with team collaboration? Will it go up? You bet. All right, great. Thank you. Other questions? Okay, we'll take this as the last question.
In the table that we had where we talked about
Use both.
What Agile is versus resistance on the left-hand side. If you're already on the left-hand side, so if you're currently sitting in that space where you're feeling like you're selling Agile to teams or on that side of the scale, do you have any practical steps that you can take to move to the green side?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the shorter answer is just move to the green side. Right? You just literally move to the green side. You go, oh, well, I need to listen and co-create. Okay, well, what do I do? Listen. Okay, team, the management wants you to do Scrum, right? And they go, yeah, we've been told we have to do Scrum. Okay, great. Well, I'm not here to make you do anything. Did you notice I'm not your boss? They go, oh yeah, you're not our boss. You can't make us do anything. I say, I don't want to do that. I'm here because, why are we even in this training? And we'll go like, because our management wants us to work better? And we'll go, either you know the answer and you tell them the answer, or you say, yeah, that sounds reasonable. So I know a lot of things that might help you. How about this? We're stuck here for 2 days. I can't control that, you can't control that. But how can we make the best of this situation? Why don't you guys tell me what your challenges are and problems are, and we'll see if any of this Scrum stuff can help you with it. And at the end of it, I might tell you a bunch of the Scrum stuff to you, and you'll decide if you want to use it or keep it. Just use the parts that are useful, throw away the rest. How does that sound? Okay, they say. And then you get them to write on sticky notes and say, what are your challenges? What are your problems? And then you start telling them all about the Scrum thing or Agile stuff. And you say, well, this is how it works. Do you think that could help you? What about this other part? And then at the end of the training, they say, well, as a team, what do you guys want to use? What do you want to take with you? That's called listening. That's called co-creation. Even though you're mandated to make them do Scrum. But what? You're going to talk at them for 2 days and they're going to ignore everything? Or are you going to get their buy-in to get started down the journey? Which one's going to actually deliver on what you're being asked to do? The listening and the co-creation. The green list is just the fast path to success. Yeah, I'm seeing some nods. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure being here. Have a great evening.